goes for a meeting with Tony Hayes, apparently the head of the BBC, and he sat there and Tony Hayes going, right, scrap your show out. Unless you've got any other ideas. And he goes, the impressions are crap, by the way. So it's probably just as well if you don't do Alan Partridge's. But he goes, ha ha! I've got an idea. And Tony Hayes goes, what's that then? He says, arm wrestling with Chaz and Dave. And you go, no, shit, type thing. And he goes through a whole list of things. He keeps getting rejected. And he goes, got one for you. Ha ha! A partridge amongst the pigeons. Tony Hayes goes, oh, is it a wildlife programme? This sounds quite good. He goes, oh no, it's just a title at this stage. The title is more important than what you actually do, is the message here. What you do, as long as you do it with a straight face, which sometimes can be difficult because I get bored. I get fucking bored doing the same thing with people, even though I know it works. So sometimes I'll do things to amuse myself. Because I can inwardly be thinking, you silly fucker, you've just done that. You actually, hey! And I think, well, fuck it, I'll demonstrate. Can I borrow you? Don't worry, give her a round of pig root pressure. I'm not going to do a full-blown therapy session. This is literally a case of monkey see, monkey do, so I don't really need to explain anything. You can do, yeah. You don't really need to explain anything to you afterwards, not really much. Well, there is one thing I will, but most of it will be self-explanatory. I genuinely, sincerely do this with clients when I want to amuse myself, but it does have a therapeutic benefit as well. It's better that you've not told them that. Well, slightly false environment. What I'd like you to do, okay, is there something in the past that if you were to think about it right now, there's still an element of either pain or distress or upset connected to? I don't want to know what it is, this is personal and private to you, but could you think of something that if you were to think about it, one of those, I would sooner not dwell on it too long type things? But it's immaterial. If it was therapy, they would go, yeah, because they're there for an issue. Yeah. But this is more about what I get them to do. So, I go, all right, well, on a scale of 0, down here, nothing, and 10 up there, the worst it ever was in the past, when it really used to bother you at its worst, how high up that scale would you say the number is right now? And they come out with a number, so whatever.
6.
No, so it's a 6. Excellent. What would you do is just take your right hand like that, take your two top fingers like that, and I'm going to do it with you so you don't feel daft, because obviously you wouldn't normally have people watching you. This would be one-to-one. I just want you to tap 3 times on the centre of your head. It's kind of there. Some people call it the psychic third eye. 1, 2, 3. Well, no, not quite. And then where your belly button is, just below that, is what they call the base chakra. So we're going to tap there 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Then you're going to tap your right shoulder. 1, 2, 3 times. Your left shoulder 3 times. Then your top lip 3 times. And then we're going to hum happy birthday. And then we do it 3 times. So go on, tap, tap, tap. Base chakra, right shoulder, left shoulder, top lip. For the purpose of this, we won't do it 3 times. But we get them to do it 3 times because things in 3, the mind works in 3 and all that cobblers. At which point I go, right, just close your eyes, try and get a sense of a feeling as it once was in the past. Try implying they won't be able to. MAQ's law of reversed effort. Okay, open your eyes. On a scale of 0 to 10, 10 up there being the worst it ever was in the past, and 0 down here. Gone completely, nothing. How much lower down is that number right now? And invariably they say a lower number.
Sure.
That's not the point of this story.
Yeah.
But thank you for getting up. I'm going to send you back to the audience so you don't hate me when I explain what the purpose of that story was. Give her a round of applause. Been great. Well, here's the thing. EFT, TFT, tapping therapist, oh, they're all bullshit. Right? I mean, it's proven. Acupuncture's bullshit. It's a placebo. It's been proven. So if sticking needles actually into an alleged meridian is nothing more than a placebo, right, and it otherwise is bullshit, do you honestly think gently tapping a meridian point, well, sorry, I'd sooner stick a fucking needle in. I'd say that's got more chance. It really doesn't matter where you tap them because this is bollocks. Yes, some people say that's the psychic third eye. And yes, just below the belly button is roughly the base chakra point, but I don't give a shit. I'm not watching them closely. I don't care. Now in TFT they have this great phrase, don't worry if you're slightly not in the right place, the body's very forgiving. No, it's just that Roger Callahan and Gary Craig and all that, no, it's bollocks. So 3 times, 3 times, 3 times right, 3 times left, 3 times on top lip, and then happy birthday, this happens 3 times. There's a reason why there's always a lower number at the end, I'll explain in a minute, that's a therapeutic technique that you can all use. The point is, it's got fuck all to do with tapping these points. All that does is, arguably, you could argue if there's any worth, it's occupying the conscious mind with an important seeming ritualistic process, which therefore arguably may, because of the context it's presented in, arguably bypass the critical faculty. And that there is an inbuilt suggestion that in fact you're doing it as a therapist in a therapeutic environment and the person's paying for it, attaches a value to it, so therefore they have an expectation and a belief that the outcome will be it will cause positive change for them, which it ultimately does. So when I'm saying it's all placebo, don't get me wrong, placebo's the most wonderful, powerful thing on the planet, because it does genuinely get results. But don't fucking kid yourself you're doing anything other than triggering a placebo. And the proof of that is, it doesn't matter where you fucking get them to tap. Honestly, it doesn't. The only people who give a shit about tapping in different places are people who pay thousands of pounds for TFT and EFT courses, who then, they want to sell them another course, so they have to come up with what they call different algorithms, different places to tap for different issues. I don't give a shite what the person's problem is that's sat with me. I always get them to tap there 3 times, 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 then hum happy birthday and do it a total of 3 times. Always. And always the number goes lower. Not because of where they've tapped, not because of meridians, because it's an important seeming ritualistic process that I'm laughing internally at the time thinking, you fucking gullible person. Excellent, but it's good. And that is why we get this bit, because it's third, well actually the way I remember it is spectacles, testicles, wallet and watch. Roman Catholic thing. So spectacles, testicles, wallet and watch. As they're doing that I'm thinking that's why I'm laughing inside. That is, I can't fucking believe I'm getting away with this. And they're paying me for it, it must be my birthday. But it works for the client. And the point of that story is to illustrate to you that placebo's a good thing. People think of it as a nasty word. Oh, you're saying I'm a comp. No, brilliant. That's what you want to trigger off. And when you accept the fact that the chances are, I say it's purely placebo, but at the very least the chances are a large percentage of what you're doing is purely placebo, then when you accept that, you can put into place every little psychological trick possible, such as many thick psychology books as possible, as many diplomas in frames, as many testimonial videos on your website as possible, so that when they come in they're already brainwashed, convinced, total belief, total expectation of it working. That is what really makes it work. Oh, and also the cobbler's trick, because SUDS they call it, Central Units of Distress Scale. And the way you're supposed to do it is say to them at the beginning, try and get a sense of a feeling as it was in the past, okay? How high up the scale would you say the number is? Excellent. And then at the end, you ask them, where's the number now? That's the way it conventionally be taught. I like things to be more guaranteed to work, as you may have guessed. So, at the beginning, when I want a high number, I go, imagine there's a scale of 0 down here, nothing, and up there's 10. The worst it ever has been in the past when it really, really bothered you. How high up would you say that number is right now? I'm effectively, non-verbally going, say a 10, 9, 8. Say a high number, you fucker. I'm physically nowhere near the 0. We do the important seeming ritualistic process, and at the end of the important seeming ritualistic process, I go, on that scale of 0 to 10, okay, 10 up there being the worst it ever was in the past, and 0 down here, nothing, voice tone raised, embedded command, gone completely. Where much lower now is that number? I'm basically saying say fucking nothing or a lower number. As long as they say a lower number, even only by 1 digit, they've got to say to themselves internally to justify that something's changed and got better. So if it only goes down one number, then you go through some other important seeming ritualistic process to get it down to a lower number until you get to 0. When they say it's at 0, they effectively have said to themselves that it's sorted. And when they've said to themselves it's sorted, it bloody well is, because they could have always sorted it in the first place. They've only come to you as an excuse to change, permission to change, to remove all that self-blame, shame, guilt, regret, frustration, anger, resentment shit. Makes sense? Without upsetting you all too much. You can see some moments of uncomfortableness there, but, you know, you don't have to agree with me. If you don't, though, you're wrong. Because it is just placebo. Now, there's maybe one other little element there, but it still comes under placebo, arguably. And that goes back to that word confidence. You act as though you expect it to work, so you're therefore projecting a positive body language, a positive voice tone, a positive intent. And if you've got a positive intent, which in therapy is that the client will end up leaving feeling better and having achieved that which they want to achieve, then as long as they leave feeling better, and especially if you can do it in one session, that's incredibly ethical, I would say, that you've helped them achieve what they wanted to achieve. Fair exchange is no robbery. The fact that you understand internally that they could have done it the bloody cells, it's neither here nor there. And with a stage show, ultimately you are just giving them an excuse to be a complete and utter prick for 60 minutes or whatever and have no comeback because the hypnotist told me to do it. So, as I've digressed slightly, albeit that it's all relevant, and some of you now, I can tell by the looks on face, are thinking, I think I'll start doing some of these group therapy sessions with a few quid in them. Let's pop back to my memory aids. We did the seesaw this morning, we did the guaranteed locked hands, we showed you before lunch how you could turn that into an induction, and the light and heavy hands turns into an induction by way of the seesaw. That's one way of doing it. The other one is to just, get them to open their eyes, see the gap as a convincer, and then say, and now close your eyes again. That's brilliant. And then you waffle on a bit longer so that their arm goes a bit lower. And you say to them, in a few moments' time, I'm going to tap you on the hand. When I do, it will not bother you, worry or concern you. It will just serve as a sign and a signal. In fact, I'm going to touch your hand in a moment, and when I do, it will be almost as though someone's put the heaviest book ever onto your hand, and you go to the one that's apparently got the books on, and you literally, unexpectedly, you don't touch them lightly like they expect, you do kind of push it so it goes direct into the lap. And while that's registering in their head, you immediately go, and now, when I touch your other hand, it's as though I've cut the string on the balloons, and you go to the back of this hand, and it only takes one finger, you can just push and it drops into the lap. It's an induction. An induction is whatever the hell you want it to be. The easiest induction you will ever get is somebody who's been hypnotised before. And it doesn't matter whether it was on stage or in a clinic. So you ask them, if it's therapy, have you ever been hypnotised before? If it's stage show, is there anyone here that's been hypnotised before? Excellent. Are you volunteering? Make sure you've got the consent. And have we got anyone here that's been hypnotised before? Yeah? Would you mind volunteering? Okay. This isn't a piss take. This is actually a real. This is actually a real demonstration of how simple it could be with someone that's been hypnotised before. So we'd have never have met before, and it'd be a case I've got people on stage, and I'd just say, "Has anyone here ever been hypnotised before?" And you put your hand up, cause which is what you can do now. So, go on. Oh. Yeah, that's brilliant. Oh, right, excellent. So you've been hypnotised before. Can I ask, was it by a professional hypnotist like myself?
Yeah.
Right. Excellent. Pay attention to this word. Was it a professional hypnotist like myself? Excellent. Was it on stage or in a clinic?
Clinic.
Clinic, excellent. And you know what that felt like, how wonderfully relaxing it was, and how your eyelids just wanted to close and your heavy head fell forward and you just felt all lovely and dreamy. I know it's different for everyone, but kind of, you know what it felt like, don't you? Excellent. Put your feet firmly on the floor, so you're steady on your chair. And yeah, let's give this a try. What I'd just like you to do, take a nice deep breath in through your nose. Do I have your permission, by the way, to use a really quick technique to help you re-enter that state that you felt before, that fantastic, lovely, Relaxing, sleep light stay. Excellent. In which case, I'm going to count from 3 to 1. On the count of 1, if you haven't already done so by the count of 1, you're just going to be able to close your eyes down and instantly re-enter that state as you felt before. 3, nice deep breath in through your nose, and out through your mouth. 2, starting to get a sense of a feeling of how wonderfully you were able to enter that place in the past and how you can do that again right now. Nice deep breath in. And 1, when you're able to close your eyes down, drifting down, sinking down, drifting down, sinking down. Lift your arm up and drop it down into your lap. It doesn't bother you, worry, or disturb you. It just helps you relax deeper and deeper with every breath that you take, every noise that you hear, every word that I say, and every thought that you think. A few moments' time, I'm going to tap you on the head and bring you back. You'll feel better than you did before. Every nerve, fibre, tissue, and muscle in your body revitalised, re-energised. Feeling fantastic inside. 1, 2, 3, lighter and brighter. 4, starting to come back to us. And on 5, whenever you feel the time's ready. Excellent.
I've never experienced anything like that in my life.
Okay, please explain, because I was about to ask you what it felt like.
So, I've got fibromyalgia. You'll know this feeling, right? When you've got fibromyalgia, suddenly the plug's taken. And you go into you feel like you're floating. You feel like you're a little bit high, like you've been, I feel a little bit funny as well now, like you're stoned. And it's a quick thing that it overwhelmed you, and that's what it felt like I was stoned, and I didn't think you'd be able to do that. not like anything.
Thing is, I didn't. That's the key.
I did it, yeah.
You did it, that's the point. And that's why anyone who identifies themselves as having been hypnotised before, the phraseology is, oh excellent, you've been hypnotised before. Was it by a professional hypnotist like myself? I'm doing a body language, I'm pointing at me, looking at me. Was it by a professional hypnotist like myself? So if they say no it wasn't, what they're saying is, by that answer, they already perceive you to be better than the person who hypnotised them in the past. So logically, therefore, if they got hypnotised previously, you'll be able to do it because you're better than the person who did it to them. If they say yes, they're saying that you are on an equal level to them. So then all you need is their consent and to remind them how to react. But it's casual, and you're going to go, so you know when you're hypnotised. I know it's different for everyone, but generally speaking, people say their eyes get dead, heavy and tired. Heavy head falls forward onto the chest. It's just a lovely, relaxing state. I nod my head, and you followed suit.
Yeah.
And when they verbally say, oh yeah, what they're saying is, yes, I remember how to react. We then just need their consent. That's what it's perceived as. So would it be okay for me to use a really quick, just put your feet there, would it be okay for me to use a really quick technique to help you re-enter that state?
Yeah.
That you know so well and you're really good at entering. And praising their ego, making them feel good. But also reminding them that if this doesn't work, it's not my fault because they're the one who's an expert on how it felt for them. So we can't fail, again, from an audience perspective. Excellent. Now, what you do then is entirely up to you, but it could be as simple as nice deep breath in, so it's okay if we do that, yeah? And sleep, 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 sleep. Loosey-goosey, drifting down, sinking down. The deeper you go, the better you feel, the deeper you go. It can be as simple as that. This time when you come back into the room, you're going to feel fantastic. Yes, it will take a few moments for you to reorientate, but on 1, it's almost as though every nerve, fibre, tissue and muscle in your body from the tips of your toes to the tips of your fingers is being washed with pure spring water, revitalised, re-energised. As on 2, you can awaken each morning with an inner warm glow of confidence, a renewed optimism to life, a more positive attitude to get things done. As on 3, it's almost as if all those stresses, tensions, worries, fears and apprehensions of days, weeks, months and years gone by are leaving your mind, leaving your body right now, feeling so fantastic. 4, slowly coming back to us in a way that feels calm, safe, secure and fantastic for you in every way. And on 5, whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. I'm going to give you a huge round of applause. You are a wonderful volunteer. Thank you. How did that feel then, by the way?
That was different.
Yeah, well, it should be, because what I did was more shocking.
That was less intense, but my arm was dead. It was almost like my legs and my arms were heavy, but my mind was more...
The logical reasoning for that is it was more expected that something was going to happen. When you do stuff and people don't expect it, there's more disorientation and confusion. Also, it's because I did it slightly differently. I just did a basic sleep type thing. The more gentler way, which is the way I would recommend, is you take them by the hand and you ask them, so yeah, have I got your permission? They say yes. You've effectively said that they will react. They know when the word sleep said, that's when they're going to close their eyes. You've told them that, effectively, in front of everyone. And you tell them to take a nice deep breath in and you lift their arm upwards as they breathe in. And then as they breathe out, the arm goes down. So it does on the count of, so that's count of 3. Count of 2, as they breathe in and then out. On the count of 1, up it goes, but then, so it pattern interrupts, instead of waiting until they breathe out, I come down fast, but not hard. I'm not pulling their arm out of the socket. It's just coming down fairly rapidly as you go, and sleep, and then hand onto the shoulder. But you saw what I did. Fear not, you'll see exactly what I did, because as soon as I've got the videos off this, privately onto my website, so the public can't see, I will send you all the video links early next week to these actual videos, so you've got the exact visual memory aids of exactly what happened here, as well as the stuff that's in the download stuff. That's why I never tell people to write stuff down, because you can have the exact notes. And it can be as simple as that when the person's been hypnotised before, because you've deciphered what we said, but in a way the audience don't realise it. We've said to them, so you've been hypnotised before, you know how to react, but if you don't, close your eyes, put your head against your chest and look like you're asleep. And do I have your permission? When they say yes, bearing in mind we're praising their ego, then I say, well, you obviously know how wonderful that felt and you can do that right now. All the onus is on them to do it right. They don't want to look a dick in front of everyone, especially when at the start of the show you've said you've got to use your powers of intelligence, imagination and concentration. So they're in what NLP would call a bind. They've got to do it. Does that make sense? And you can be as creative as you want, but don't start kidding yourself. I'm not going to mention names, but there is an American hypnotist, and he believes he's invented more induction techniques than any other hypnotist on the planet. I kid you not. I have witnessed him literally pick up a pen, and he's had someone there who's gone, have you been hypnotised before? Yeah, so they have. Oh, was it a professional hypnotist like myself? Yes. Were you ready to go back into that state again? When they say yes, arguably the induction's done, you just need the trigger saying sleep to close their eyes. And he's gone, look at the pen. Sleep! It's the pen induction! I fucking kid you not. I sat through 2 fucking days of this shit once, because I was the health and safety and legal advisor on UK laws for this event, and I couldn't fucking believe what was being passed. Why not just be honest and tell everyone in the audience that I'm about to tell you that you can make up whatever shit you want? Make it up! If you say, the key is you tell them something's going to happen, so they're pre-warned, and they've got an expectation and a belief to wrap their mind around. You then do what you said was going to happen, but ideally throw in something extra, unexpected, so there's confusion and disorientation. And you act the part of what they expect a hypnotist to be and say sleep at the right time. And you don't give a fuck if it doesn't work, because it's them that looks as though they failed, because of the way you set it up. And that applies to therapy, group, session, stage, the bloody lot. Makes sense? 5-minute toilet break, and then we'll get into the really juicy stuff, although hopefully it is all falling into place.
But it's boosting my energy. Well, that's what you did on the second one, I think, because you told them that you had fibromyalgia.